I'm back home safe and sound. Apparently I'm good enough to jog because I just did a jog. It's more of just like the mental trauma from the accident that just seems to be messing me up now. But anyway, I guess I should probably tell you the story on how it happened. Here we go.
We had literally just driven around that bend, and had the driver passed out a second sooner, he would have gone straight across oncoming traffic. But after we made it around the bend, we went off the embankment. And I know the tire tracks are not consistent with this, but I'm telling you, we went airborne. I remember after hearing the rumble strip, that I remember just getting like launched off the highway and landing and hitting hard, like it compressed like your back basically in that field. And when we're in the field, we're like, driver. Everyone at this point is yelling, driver, driver. And he's not responding. But so I was toward the middle back of the bus, and you could hear the engine still accelerating. So I guess when he fainted or passed out, his foot was still on the accelerator. And I don't know how we didn't flip over after we went off that first embankment there. I mean, you can see on the tire tracks that we were only on, there were 3 spots where I thought we were going to flip. And you can kind of see in the tire tracks how we were only on one set of tires because we were going to flip over. So we go through this fence here. And keep in mind, we're doing 100 feet per second. We're every bit of 75 mile per hour. You know, nothing's really slowed us down at this point because his foot's still on the accelerator. And that's when we see the first tree. And literally, I don't know how this is possible, but you can see the tree is broke toward the top of the tree. So we hit this thing, and the whole bus is like on its side almost. As you can see from the tire tracks, the bus was on its side again, and we slammed back down, and it slammed so hard it threw us against the right side of the bus. That's the second time that the bus almost flipped over. Then, I don't know how this is possible, but you can see the bus made an immediate right turn, like a 90 degree. I don't even know how that's possible, but it, again, went on its side and then slammed back down. And this time when it slammed down, we slammed right in between 2 trees. We hit one head on, and then the other tree stopped us from flipping over the other side. After we hit that tree, there was, I mean, obviously there's stuff leaking and everything, but we didn't see that till afterwards. After we hit that tree, there's smoke, there's dust, there's like, just, we thought that the bus was on fire. So I'm yelling to everybody, where's the emergency exit? Because we think the things, or at least I think the thing's on fire. And nobody can find it. At the time, I didn't realize this, but I didn't know there were seatbelts on the bus. They're kind of like hidden in the seat. They were kind of like tucked in there. I don't think a single person had their seatbelt on. So the front of the bus, where the majority of the impact was, is where the door is to get on and off. So 2 people managed to get out there and started trying to pry it open. And unfortunately, only like the thin people could get out. And so a few of us were able to get out, and then everybody else was still trying to figure out how to get that emergency door open. So as luck would have it, the emergency door was where I was sitting. But I do remember hitting the red button, trying to get it open, but I couldn't get it open. My back, I guess from the compression or the impact, I was hunched over, like I couldn't stand up straight, and so I was no use to anybody. But once I got off the bus, they were able to get that emergency door open, and that's how the majority of the larger people were able to get out. Once I was pretty sure that no one had any life-threatening injuries, I immediately called my mom, and I just remember thinking, Greg, you have to sound happy, because if she answers the phone and you're sad, you're going to scare the crap out of her. And after that, I texted Miranda, and she could care less if I was alive or dead, so that was a waste of a message. But
that's the granola bar I just ate. That's the water I was drinking. That's where my face hit the seat. And for some reason, these are my headphones back here.
someone had to have seen a bus fly off the road, but not one civilian pulled over to see if we were okay or anything. The officer later on did say that they couldn't find us because we were so far off the road, they just didn't see us. Out of 18 passengers, including the bus driver, only 9 of us made it out of there. The other 9 either went to the hospital or turned up missing. There were 2 addicts that were going to rehab, and they had a bunch of drugs on them, so they took off into the woods, and the police weren't even looking for them. So hopefully they found them, because it got down to like 20 degrees that night. Yeah, when you share an experience like that with a group of people get real honest real quick. And like the one guy, he was a pimp heading back to Vegas. He had to I guess retrieve one of his girls or something. And then we had one girl was spoke no English, so there was a huge language barrier. We felt terrible for her. And then we had a girl that was 100% deaf, and no one really could communicate other than through text, and that was difficult too. One guy said that he was trying to avoid arrest for a crime he had committed back in, I think it was Arizona, somewhere in Arizona, so he was heading to another state, so they couldn't extradite him. It was crazy. There were a few people actually that were coming to or from rehab. There was a kid next to me, and the kid didn't have anybody. And so his next meal was his next stop. And obviously he wasn't going to make it to his next stop, certainly not in time. And so he was just worried, because he didn't have any food. I said, buddy, I got you. And luckily, Mr. and Miss Claus, if you remember them from one of my previous videos, they had sent some cash to a friend's house to give to me. And I didn't carry much cash on me because I just always use credit card. And the cash came in handy, so I actually gave him, the kid, a $100 bill. And you should have seen his face. He went from like poor to rich. I mean, $100 to a kid's a lot of money, right? And then he went to so the police dropped us off at the gas station so we could warm up. And he goes to spend the $100 bill at the gas station, and the gas station's like, oh, sorry, we don't take bills that large. I mean, how cruel. And so the kid walked over to the Carl's Jr. That was inside the gas station, and they forgot his order, so they ended up giving him his food free. So he went from like rich to broke to rich to broke again, or broke to rich to broke to rich again. And he was really grateful, but I was glad I was able to help him in that situation, because, I mean, a kid in that situation, I mean, I was beyond traumatized. I can only imagine what he was going through. Nevada PD just woke me up and asked me a bunch of questions, and then they just walked away. It's like, why'd y'all have to bug me? I'm sound asleep. It's crazy to me that I managed to go like 82 days without feeling alone one time. And the one time I feel alone is in one of the busiest cities in America. Meanwhile, with tons of Bengals fans here because they played last night or the night before. I couldn't get a flight. I couldn't get a flight because they were all taken by the Bengals fans. Oh, I'm definitely sore. I'll be all right. This is In-N-Out Burger. I was really looking forward to this, but it's like I can hardly enjoy it right now because I feel like I didn't earn it. Just a crappy feeling.
The second time in 12 years, a Coleraine Township man set out to walk across America in hopes of getting on the TV show Survivor. He is back home tonight after a very unexpected turn of events. Brad Underwood spoke with him this evening in a story you'll see only on Local 12.
Sure is peaceful out here.
Leaving Coleraine Township, Greg Insko steps out on a 2,200-mile adventure, walking to Los Angeles in hopes of proving his toughness and determination are enough to propel him to a spot on Survivor.
I did this back in '09, and the casting director told me I was too nice, not greedy enough, and don't have what it takes to outwit anyone. And those words haunted me for 12 years.
At it again, Insko documents his progress with video updates.
I'm in Missouri, baby! Woo!
Through the Midwest, the deserts and mountain ranges, he forges on. Along the way, meeting new friends and enduring injuries like a staph infection.
I had to have it cut open and drained out and then sewn back, but that was rough because I couldn't wear my backpack on my back because of the staph infection.
So he started buying dollies to pull his gear.
Each one of these I got lasted 250 miles.
But on day 75, everything changed.
Well, here it is, my first time being pulled over.
She gives me two options. Either be arrested for trespassing for walking on the highway or get on a Greyhound. Well, I didn't like either of those options, so I had to choose one.
After getting on a bus, the worst is still ahead. That bus, taking Insko to a new location where he'd continue walking, crashes.
The driver fainted right after we went around a bend, and next thing we know, we go airborne. We take out a tree. The tree takes us sideways, so we almost flip over. And when the bus came back down, that's when we all slammed against that side of the bus. You can hear the accelerator going, rrrr. It's still accelerating instead of slowing down.
Sliding on its side toward another tree.
I just put my hands up and I went back in my seat and I was like, I don't want to watch myself die.
Miraculously, everyone survived. Insko and 8 others even walked away from the wreckage.
I knew the second I hit that tree, the walk was done.
Back at home and still processing what just happened, he can't help but be reminded how much he really wanted the chance to be on the show, something Insko always dreamt about accomplishing.
I'm alive. I should be grateful that I'm alive. I should be happy I'm alive. But I have this horrible sense of incompletion.
Well, they were friendly.
In Coleraine Township, Brad Underwood, Local 12 News.
Yikes, so get off the highway to be safe, and then it turns out to be worse. Okay, he does say he wants to finish that walk someday.
I feel like we've got to make this story go viral, get the attention of the show. The man deserves to be on Survivor. I know I'm not a producer on the show, but if I'm voting,
You think it?
he needs to be on the
he's
show.
a survivor.
I mean, he's the ultimate survivor.
My nieces and nephews are gonna love this. This is your great Uncle Roy, and guess what? He has big poops too.
Oh, God.